What's on the docket today?
Boring Martian routine.
Hello, little dream.
With an intriguing blend of sci-fi delights, slightly borrowed from the likes of Dead Space and The Station, Moons of Madness takes players on a Lovecraftian narrative thrill ride players may not soon forget. A compelling walking simulator in many regards, developer Rock Paper Games' latest cosmic thriller is an impressive experience despite the game's straightforward procedure. Utilizing the Unreal Engine, Rock Paper drops players directly on Mars as engineer Shane Newhart, a member of the scientific planetary exploration team, headed up and funded by the Orochi Group. To your understanding as chief engineer, the purpose of this Mars trip for Shane is strictly maintenance, tasked with putting out figurative fires where the Mars base camp facilities are concerned. Shane will be asked to properly realign solar panels, balance sprinkler settings, and use a crowbar to get through malfunctioning doorways to calibrate system settings, which benefits the working procedures of the entire crew. The pacing of Moons of Madness is heavily predicated on the game's well-told narrative, and although some of the game's plot twists might leave you asking a few questions once the credits are rolling, piecing together the layered story design is ultimately what drives this experience forward. From the outset, players wake up in an intense dream, introduced to an otherworldly figure which beckons your attention, alongside an infestation of an unknown entity. Awakening from this regularly occurring dream, you realize your dream closely resembles your real-life surroundings of Trailblazer Alpha, your home on Mars for the time being. Interestingly enough, based on the dialogue with other crew members, Shane isn't the only person suffering from these terrifying dreams. In Moons of Madness, while players are part of a research team with regular dialogue through their normal communication devices, Shane's journey is taken relatively alone. For many often explained and a few unexplained reasons, Shane is seemingly a solo act on Mars. Sure, you will eventually come into direct contact with other crew members. However, these brief occurrences may not be as pleasant as you might have hoped. With so much isolation, the tone and pacing of the game adds tension to the affair. Again, you are not technically alone. However, as the stakes increase and the hallucinations are introduced, Moons of Madness becomes a legit survival thriller. After a few initial paces with Shane performing his work-related tasks, players are acquainted with the game's how-to procedures. Eventually, players receive their biogauge scanning device, Shane's most useful tool throughout, revealing the direction of the next objective, while also identifying key objects in your area. Shortly after a routine visit to the greenhouse, the game swiftly builds the tension meter, and for the duration of the game, it does not let up. Aside from your engineering duties, Shane's existence in this universe is limited to walking, sprinting, crouching, and occasionally figuring out the game's increasingly more challenging puzzle designs, which are fun to figure out. Shane is an engineer, not a combatant, so don't expect any standoff boss battles. The name of the game here is to survive and discover as much as possible. As mentioned before, Moons of Madness thrives on its well-told story. Exploration of the Mars base seems to utilize non-fictional elements to immerse the player within its believable setting. I thoroughly enjoyed overcoming objectives with the use of computers, electrical systems, rovers, and the like. Throughout the game's gradually discovered revelations, how Rock Pocket Games balances the narrative through emails, docs, post-it notes, pamphlets, and the like made it hard to put the game down. Sure, if you want to take in all that there is to discover, there will be some required reading. Yet how this process is integrated within the gameplay design adds tons of entertainment. With great sound design, and I highly recommend playing with a great quality headset, Moons of Madness presents players within a believable Red Planet setting. Though Moons of Madness may not be a AAA production, you will appreciate the sci-fi procedural posturing in addition to the absorbing level designs. Locales are well designed, and oftentimes players may feel the need to scour areas for unforeseen clues. Unfortunately, for Moons of Madness, players are not directly compelled to engage clear-cut quests, as they do not exist here. If something important is missed, more than likely you are told to continue searching to figure out an objective before driving the story forward. While I do believe this to be a missed opportunity, what is on tap more than satisfies. Upon the completion of one objective, the player is not tasked with feeling like they are being pushed into another backtracking fetch quest. Here the objectives are fresh, and they make sense with a satisfying process. The progression system does not waste your time, always leading players to the next discovery. As the star of the show, engineer Shane Newhart is a well-designed, emotional character. Operating primarily in a state of isolation for the majority of the ride, Shane more than keeps players entertained with his true-to-life gesturing as he properly reacts to many situations as would an actual person. As players continue down this rabbit hole of discoveries to the game's more over-the-top moments, Shane never disappoints. From swearing, from utter fear, to arguing with colleagues who he would gladly trade places with, Shane is a real dude, in which I quickly grew fond of as he made the ride even more engaging and interesting. For the most part, Moons of Madness does hold your hand, making the experience rather linear. Yet I did not mind this approach due to the engrossing story, a personable lead character, challenging puzzles, and bold discoveries. Ultimately, there is much to discover in Moons of Madness, from haunting hallucinations, aggressive plant life behaving with sinister intentions, crew members going completely insane, discovering disturbing history about colleagues, to learning about Shane's upbringing and elusive parent, and ultimately the true story and intentions of Trailblazer Alpha. Moons of Madness was an enjoyable ride throughout. Without adding too many dynamic gameplay design layers, developer Rock Pocket has played it safe this time around. If players are looking for a compelling story with engrossing puzzles, a cool lead character, within a well-designed universe, Moons of Madness should not be missed. And there you have it.
Declan, are you there? Declan! God damn it, Declan! What is that? Shit! Holy shit! Ina! Dr. Volkova, where are you? Something is seriously wrong. The infection is everywhere.
Evolution.